2007, the Center for Immigration Studies estimated there were 38 legal and illegal immigrants in the United States. 1 out of 3 of those was an illegal immigrant.
Right.
34% of that 40 million are uninsured, and 71% of the increase in the uninsured is due to the immigrant increase since 1989. And a lot of experts say we could fix healthcare, fix immigration, because we have a huge influx of legal and illegal immigrants that don't have health insurance that are driving up the cost. So kind of 2 questions in one. First, where do you stand on immigration? Or do you favor, because that's a very important issue to me. Do we want a wall? Do we want a fence? Do we want amnesty? What's your solution for immigration? And also, kind of just a little bit into healthcare about what do you think we can do to fix healthcare?
Let's take those 2. Okay. Right now, there's a reason why they're not talking about immigration right now, and they're only talking about healthcare. You know what that is? Anybody take a shot at it? They don't want to solve the immigration problem because they want to make sure that the healthcare bill has legal residence in it. You know why they want? And the reason they want legal residence in it is because then later on they can talk about immigration and perhaps amnesty and make everybody a legal resident so that everybody's covered. There's a reason. There's a method to the madness. Instead of just happenstance. So let me start with that. Healthcare bill will probably resolve before immigration ever comes up. There's going to be a decision on that. I don't know how closely y'all been following that, but our Senator Lincoln and Senator Pryor are going to have to make some tough decisions here pretty quick. You know, they're being put in a position where they're going to have to stand up and be counted. We're all going to know where they stand. Number 1, as far as healthcare. But let's go back to immigration. Immigration is an extremely difficult, very emotional problem for a lot of people. I remember when we did the amnesty back in '89. You know, I think it was 3 million. We did amnesty. The problem is that there was nothing else after that. The government failed us. The government should have put a clamp on the border. There should have been. We can definitely seal it. There's thousands of ways to do that. There's many ways we can seal it. They haven't done that. For the last 8 years, even with the Republican Party, and I have a problem with that, they've been giving us lip service. They all just fall back, well, we can't talk about it until the border is secure. Well, what I haven't heard is, well, when is it going to be secure? Give me a date, give me a timeline, and give me a person to hold accountable. They haven't done that. But they can tell us when we need a timeline to bring troops out of Iraq. But why can't we have a timeline when we're going to have our border secure? You know, they haven't done that. That's number 1. You got to have a timeline. You got to have someone to hold accountable, and then you got to secure the borders. That's first. Then you got to figure out what you're going to do with the folks that are here. You know, that is going to be the contentious issue, because I'll tell you what we're not going to do. We're not going to load people up in vans or trucks, you know, kids screaming and crying, and haul them away down the south. You're never going to see that happen. It's just not. You know, so the only way to do it is make it to where the benefits that they get from this country, unless you're a U.S. citizen, you don't get it. You know, once the benefits of being here are dried up, they'll go home, and that's what you have to do. And there are probably there's many more steps in there other than that, but the majority will go back. If you go and look at in Oklahoma, they passed a law 104B. Y'all familiar with that? Go Google it. But it was the law they passed in Oklahoma to be able to deal with their immigration problems in Oklahoma, and it worked. It worked almost overnight, within a week or 2. Most all the illegals left, because you know where they went. Here, to Arkansas. You know, but I'm just telling you, there are ways that are proven to be able to solve the problem. But you can't have sanctuary cities, and you can't have sanctuary states, and we need to pull together to fix it. Otherwise, we're going to wind up just like California. You know, and what happens is, and I know I'm going off a little bit, but this is what you need to understand. The problem is that when you don't have a balance, and Arkansas we got a balanced budget amendment, thank goodness. But when you're in places like the federal government where you don't have a balanced budget amendment, then you can just increase the credit limit. And so Congress people who don't have the guts to stand up and do the right thing and save for your future so that you're not indebted, so that my little 2-3-week-old son is in $38,000 in debt, they should be saying, no, we can't do that. We can't afford to do that. We are not going to raise the credit limit and just keep charging and charging and charging. You know, 43 cents on the dollar that we borrowed this year. For every money dollar we spent, 43 cents of it was borrowed. You know, that's what's killing us. So, but it's a complicated issue, but I'm not for amnesty, just so you know. I'm not for amnesty at all. But we got to figure out a way, and I think if we eliminate those types of things and we require people to be citizens in certain services, they'll go home. Yeah, which they should, and they should get back in line. They should get in line, because I'm not against immigration, guys. You know, immigration, we've got to have it. If you look at the numbers for the workforce, we've got to have immigrants in this country. There's nothing wrong with that. We're a nation of immigrants. The problem is we've got to be able to control the flow, because we can't afford all the services. You can't afford to bring a bunch of people in here, and then all their families and their parents and their grandparents, and then they all get Medicare or Medicaid, or we have to take care of them, or the state has to take care of them. You can't do that. You know? So anyway, it was a good deal for a while for a lot of people, but now it got to the breaking point.
So what do you think the best way to secure the border is?
There's a variety of ways. You know, you get the extreme is what you have in Korea. Okay, again, I was on the DMZ. That's a pretty secure border. That's 4 kilometers wide. It goes the whole peninsula. It's not many people getting through there. I can tell you that. That's the extreme. I don't think we have to do that. There are other ways that you can do that. But East and West Germany have borders. I mean, all kinds of countries have borders that we can secure. Technology exists today, but we can do that if we really want to. But you got to have will. You got to have, and we haven't had that.
It's just funny to hear Republicans and Democrats and anyone come forward and say, well, we can't afford to secure the border. When I would say we can't afford not to secure
That's
the border.
correct. That's correct. Well, there's a lot of forces that are working that, and I'll tell you one thing you'll get from me. You'll get a straight story. I'm not gonna. I mean, I'll tell you exactly what pressure I'm getting from somebody else to not vote one way or another. But I'm gonna vote the way the people of Arkansas want me to vote, and the people of Arkansas want to secure the border.
Yeah.
That's it. Period.